his speech. We now call upon the second speaker of the proposition, Dr. Eunice Casey.
Ladies and gentlemen, today, even before we started this debate, we knew exactly what the side opposition was going to come up here and say, as they did. They were going to say, and they did, that our ideas would lead up to more discrimination, that they would not find jobs in this new model of theirs. Well, we believe that they have been left in the past. Unfortunately, this is not the 1800s for them. We do not discriminate people anymore. Actually, we have minimalized it to such a minimum, a small level that these words have evolved, as so has society. As my first speaker explained, these words that we used to discriminate don't mean the same thing anymore. And we think that this is a very important fact in society's evolution. We think that this helps society communicate better. We believe that this will enable society to advance in social entropy. For society to interact with each other, which is the concept of entropy in every way. So thank you. Now, they talk about influential speeches. Well, let's talk about influential speeches. Martin Luther King Jr., in his speech of I Have a Dream, he addressed the 1 million people in that speech and the media. He addressed his people as Negroes. And ladies and gentlemen, no thank you. We believe that this is a very important fact, again, in the speech, and I quote, I have a dream that one day the Negro and the white man will walk hand in hand united. This is a very important example for our case. Now, we see that when this happened, Martin Luther King's dream is that the white man, as he calls the Negro, can communicate with each other freely, can act each other freely, and can be in the same social environment freely communicating. Now, let's give an example. Let's say we have 6 people. So let's say two Afro-Americans, 2 Latin ethnicity people, and 2 Anglo-Saxons. So what would happen? Let's say the 2 Afro-Americans start talking inside each other, and one of them calls each other a nigger. So what would happen with this? Suddenly, the other 4 people would think that this is okay because they intentionally speak with each other in this way, and they define each other in this way. Now, the other 4 people, when right in front of the speech, when they're just about to call them nigger, in today's society they just go, and then they stop. And then suddenly the whole conversation in the room goes dead. Communication between the 6 people goes down. Actually, yes, I can take you now.
So, what you're actually saying is that in nowadays society, people cannot call each other Negro. I mean, this is so absurd.
Okay, I understand your point. Okay, let's look at the United States. Now, right now in the United States, in ghettos, we see that Negroes, Afro-American people, refer to each other as in the word nigger. But when a white person says this in a friendly manner, or in a racist manner, which is the right way to punish them, as my first speaker said, even if they address them in a friendly manner, they get punished for hate crimes, for something that they did not mean intentionally. Ladies and gentlemen, today, our society, as well as our use of words, has evolved. We don't use, again, a point that side opposition does not understand. No, thank you. And the fact is that throughout this blocking of communication, we won't be able to advance. Because the advancement of society is only available through communication. Think of it. If society was formed of bits and bits and bits of parts of different ethnicities, then how could we communicate with each other? Then how could we form friendships where everybody is afraid of referring to the other ethnicities in a wrong way? We believe that in these cases that everybody should be able to speak freely. And then, why would a person report this bad use? Well, today, how do we stop this? When people think they're being discriminated against, they go to the government, to social services, and what happens is the people that do discriminate against them are punished. Now, this is going to still be the same thing in our world, in our model, when people can speak freely and address people in a proper way, with these right now politically incorrect languages. So what happens in our world is, when a person realizes that he's being discriminated against, when a person realizes that this word is being used in a bad way, no thank you, they will contact somebody, the government, and they will get that person punished. So, now we think that when this word is put to use, let's say all of the states over the world pass this law in our model, what happens? This goes all over the news because it's a really, really, really big issue. Now what happens when it goes all over the news? People see this, people hear about this, and people start adapting to this new use of word, where nigger is not used as black slave, but nigger is used in the content of a friend who has Afro-American ethnicity. No, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's return to the fact of Martin Luther King. If not for him, today, we wouldn't even have the social unity that we have today. People would still be discriminating against black people, but in his speech, when he wasn't afraid to address his own people, to define his own people as Negroes, the fact that change our definition of this word is what means, no thank you, is the fact that we have evolved, that he can say this in front of the media, that he can say this in front of white people, that he can say this in front of his own people, has changed our concept, our knowledge of this vocabulary in a very different way. Now, to generalize, no thank you. What has not team opposition didn't get and we get? So they could not understand the concept of the evolution of society and the use of words with it. They have in their plan that they couldn't, they stopped the communication, that people couldn't communicate in a better way. That's in their plan, and when people in our model could communicate in a better way, that society will develop, and that influential people, like Martin Luther King and so on, well, people can address each other. We have said that society will evolve, and that's our main purpose today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I believe is that the Team Slovakia do not fail to understand the evolution of development of words, but the Team of Turkey failed to understand this motion. What I will do in my speech is rebut what I believe were the arguments, and then I will move to our third substantial point. So let's tackle their case. Well, firstly, I would like to express what the Team Slovakia means about the unfair model that the Team Turkey set. At first, we believe that group of 6 people or calling somebody unfair names in a group doesn't mean public use. Public use means media. It means television, radio, newspapers, some political speeches, some campaigns political, and this means the spread of this idea throughout the whole society. This is public use, not talking impersonal to some friend. Another point is that what I fail to understand is that in the current status quo, people who are not racist, who are not against some groups, are not anyhow punished. And only the punished people are actually those who offend those people. So it won't happen that somebody who is not actually against some group won't be punished. Only those who are really calling somebody some unfair political names are offended. Also, we mean that the idea that if somebody is only offended is absolutely absurd. I don't understand how somebody can, no thank you. So, for example, if we call Muslims, for example, terrorists, I can't see how that a Muslim can be offended. I believe that there are some words which are actually hurting some groups, and it's not only about ethnicity, it's about the race, about the gender, about the religion. There are the only one example that was the Team Turkey capable to bring was calling calling somebody Negro is okay, but there are some but we believe that at first this is not okay because we believe these people are Afro-Americans, so they are right to be offended by this word, and we believe that there are certain words that the people can feel offended. So, and another point was the freedom of speech, that people can express no thank you, their anger, but we believe that state has a right to limit these wrong, biased and subjective ideas which contribute to spread of xenophobia or, for example, racism, which harm the society. So we believe that in these cases, the state has a right to intolerate this in public use, such as the media. Then also, yes, please.
Okay, so do you say no to a billboard that says no racism by using politically incorrect language?
What I am saying is that we say no, for example, to politician who is speaking in front of the whole society and calling immigrants some wrong names which are not going to work. For example, we can see difference between somebody who is politically correct, as for example Marine Le Pen in France, who is working against immigrants in a politically good way, and we see difference between somebody who is calling these immigrants yes, please.
Okay, so the thing that you're expecting us to do is to allow everybody, well, we prepared our model according to this, that we will not allow the racist people to use these politically incorrect words in the format.
But that's what the side of the Team Slovakia should be proposing, that we do not allow people who use politically incorrect words in the public. So you are actually you don't understand the motion, and you are failing to bring any arguments that would prove your side. And what you are also failing is actually the Team Turkey have said nothing to our arguments about hurting these groups who can feel offended, and said nothing about to the reinforcement of prejudice, because we believe that through the media, through this political, it has firstly the big target group, the whole society. Of course, this is spread throughout media with directly influenced masses of people. It's through the reporters, politicians, which these people are highly respect. So we believe that these ideas who are biased, who are subjective, which offend some groups unfairly, are wrong, and we should not allow this to be present publicly. Because this, as was shown, it spreads xenophobia and racism, and we believe that it's today's society. This has no place. We believe that in our system, our model, when we ban this, when we do not allow it, we will punish these people. It will mean that they will be restricted from doing this. They will be not motivated to do so, and also they will have no place in media. So we believe that our model solves this problem, and we believe that also how it harms. Their model harms the target group. It can't be tolerated. And we do want equality. We want these people to their self-esteem not be harmed, and they do not be social excluded because of this. And what we believe, and what brings me to my third substantial point, is that this, if we tolerate this use of politically incorrect words in the public use, we believe that it damages international reputation of that state. Because if we enable this to be in the media, it gets into the issues of tolerance, of multiculturalism are most today in such a spotlight out that the society, the global society, can see the problems which are in the world. For example, there was a problem between Hungary and Slovakia, and it got into the European Union known about this. And what is the consequence of this is that one person who has this idea which is wrong can create a picture about the country, which then can hurt the international relations, because this nation which is offended has the international relation will be harmed, and this will not be able to cooperate to such an extent, and we believe that that's wrong, and we should limit this by not allowing these unpolitically incorrect, the politically incorrect words to be present in media, and do not, so they are not spread politically. So we believe that proving that the team of Turkey failed to understand the motion, failed to rebuttal our arguments, and their arguments will rebut by our team Slovakia, showing you that their model is illogical, it's unfair to our position, and also the freedom of speech which they propose as argument can be limited in such cases as is contribution to xenophobia and racism. And when we believe we persuaded you that this use of incorrect words can harm society on international level and inside the society, we believe that the team Slovakia wins this debate. Thank you.
I'll call upon the second speaker of the opposition to do his voice. So the third speaker.
To begin with, we allow the use of the word, but as we pointed out, in the correct manner, so that these people tolerate it. In public, anyone can say whatever they want, whenever they want, as long as it's used in the correct form. Secondly, we want you to reevaluate your concept of racism. We believe that racism is an act of hatred, an act that wants to harm the person. But we believe that the cause of this is not the language being used, it's the actions that are being taken with this language. So therefore, as my second speaker said, we are not only addressing to the private conversations in between people, we're addressing to the whole of public. By our example of Martin Luther King. As I have understood, you believe that if there is a word friendlier than we should use, friendlier than the word nigger, we should use it. No, we do not believe this, because nigger, negro, black person, all have the same meaning. So in consequence, using the same words in the same manner doesn't matter. It's the way that you pronounce it. It's the way that you actually want to use it against the person. I can offend you with any word I want. It's only the way that I use it. It's what makes you feel hatred or what makes you feel anger.